Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I'm here today with a Friday flip through. Flip Through Friday is hosted by Christina's Shack. I will link her down below. I thought I would be back for another crafty kind of making video on this book, but I ended up I filmed the video for this. I know it posted probably yesterday or the day before, but I actually had been working on it about a week in advance, and then yesterday my insomnia was a little bit wacky, so I decided to just get up in the middle of the night and finish it and just work on it quietly. But I couldn't film because I did not want to wake any of the monsters that lie above me in these various rooms and hollows. So that being said, I finished this book. This is What Do the Tooth Fairies Do with All These Teeth? And it's kind of a Halloween-y feeling, an illustrated kind of book. It has a little bit of a witchy element toward the end. But it's not necessarily so. So if Halloween's not your thing and you find children's stories as endearing as I do, and you just like the Tooth Fairy as a concept, then I think you'd still like this book. This is a storybook journal, but I am going to do a bit of talking through it because I don't think it will disrupt the story. It's not like a narrative that has to closely be followed. And I want to tell you a few things about the book. So I'll get started here. I try not to do the super long intros to journal flip throughs because I know they drive people a little bananas. So this is a blue book. It's a vintage book that I just had the cover hanging about. It had owls on it, and I just added this to the front so that it would completely cover the owls, but I really love how the colors and everything came together. So this is from the original book cover of What Do the Tooth Fairies Do with All Those Teeth? And it's got the tooth fairies here, and they have a few little critters that hang out with them throughout this book, and they're very cute. So I added a new spine to this book with this lovely lace, and it overrides both covers. And then I've embossed these teeth on here. If you watched my making video, you would have seen me doing that, these lovely embossed teeth. And I also added a journal label with some nice kind of textured white paper, again thinking of teeth. So on the spine, I've added a lot of fun things, all sorts of little vintage pink buttons, because I felt like, teeth and all that kind of thing. Pink just felt like the right color, and there's some nice pinks in the book. Then I've also added some silk cocoons that kind of have this reminiscent feeling of teeth, and then a little blue, mostly blue. I think there's maybe one or two pink or green. Yeah, one kind of greenish and one pink butterflies, because, fairies and tooth fairies. And then we have this little magical capsule here that has some fairy dust inside, these little rainbow star sprinkles, and also some dental tooth models from an auction that I bought some time ago. These are not real teeth, so don't worry. They're just resin models. One even has a little cavity. They're just for dental learning. They're not actually biological material or anything, don't worry. And then I have actually sealed this bottle. It's glued shut anyhow, so it won't open, but it's like a fun little shaky thing that you can play with on the spine. Then the metal eyelets with vintage white seam binding to close the book. So let's hop on into this book. I didn't put any laces or anything hanging out. You get a little bit of a profile up here, some fabric tabs. But I didn't feel like it was a lacy book, really. So I put a little lace on the pocket here, just this little bit. And these are these papers with the teeth. I drew these myself. And I thought they'd be fun for the end papers. So these are the end papers. This is a dyed muslin that is on the inside of the spine, and then I added this tag here of this fairy. She's a tooth fairy. And then we have the original book cover, What Do the Fairies Do with All These Teeth? That's just from the cover, and I thought it'd be a little journal bookmark or card. You could pop it throughout the book if you're working in it. And then the first page opens to this. So what do the fairies do with all those teeth? So I wanted to put the title here and a little illustration from the book. Use this really fun scrapbook paper, and then this is from the original back cover of the book. It's the cat from the book. So I've stenciled some teeth on all of the white pages, all of the blank pages. This is cabbage dyed paper. Losing your first tooth is an important event. They say if you hide it under your pillow, a tooth fairy comes in the night and takes it, leaving behind a few coins or a little gift. But have you ever wondered what the fairies do with all those teeth? Yes, what do they do? This is a little monkey from the original book, and this is some Grey's Anatomy paper and some dyed lace. This is from a very old book, and there are lots of tooth fairy stories that have both frogs and mice. And on this Grey's Anatomy book, it's all teeth illustrations, so it's kind of a cool add-in for the book. And I flipped it up to make a pocket on this side, and then this is kind of like a toothy wonderland Iker image, and this is from an old book as well. There's a few of these Toothy Wonderland from an Iker series that I included in here. You'll see a couple more. Then we have some more lacy coffee dyed paper and tea dyed paper. This is a pricing sheet from a vintage book, and it's this fun shade of yellow with green. My lights are so bright lately. I don't know why that is. I haven't changed anything, but they seem so much brighter. So yeah, a pricing sheet I thought was a funny little add-in because, you know, maybe kids are pricing out their teeth to the tooth fairy. Then we have this stenciled little banner here, more tea dyed paper and coffee dyed lace paper that has like a bluish hue at the back. And then more of the paper from the Grey's Anatomy. This is like a large image of a tooth, and it's showing you the different kinds of sections of the tooth. And in here we have this little one sleeping in bed. And then this tag here is the flyaway horse. It's from another book. This is some fun jelly printing with gold. The flyaway horse seeks those faraway lands you little folk dream of at night, where candy trees grow and honey brooks flow and cornfields with popcorn are white. And I felt like that goes nicely with the idea of the tooth fairy. And then this journal card here with some lace and fabric. And this sparkling, fun, sparkly pocket. This is really nice paper. And some more of my lacy dyed paper. Do they collect them just for the fun of it? Original book page. Stenciled teeth. And this is a little Hood's latest advertisement. They made tooth powders, and this is from the Graphics Fairy. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. And this is an ad for French toothbrushes. This fun starry pocket. Stenciled tooth and hand-dyed paper. This is a paint by number page back here in this fun pocket. And another of the Toothy Wonderlands here. And I skipped. No, I didn't. Okay. Okay. Then this little polka dot pocket here, and then this little fairy in the. She's made like a little house out of this tooth. Do they string them into necklaces? I love this kind of big, you know, curio of teeth. More dyed paper, and this is from like a 1980s like advertisement, like paper advertisement company. They made these foils, and I just love the stars. I thought it was really good for the book. Tea dyed paper. More lacy paper. Look at this picture of them stringing the necklace of teeth and putting it on this tooth fairy mannequin. A little garden where they're using the teeth to saw down flowers on a saw. Fun starry paper. This is handmade paper. Little pocket here with these little teeth and the tooth fairy. And then this journal card was cut from an old book, and she's just got this, you know, she's a little fairy floating on this blue, you know, lily pad looking thing on a bed, and she's got this sort of spindle of what looks like silver floss. More dyed paper and a stenciled tooth. Pocket here with some sparkles on the stamp, and then this is from what's her name? I want to say like Fujikowski, but I'm saying it wrong. This is a Japanese illustrator, and I'm saying her name incorrectly at the moment because I don't have the book in front of me, and I somehow forget her name, even though I always read her books. The book is called Come Follow Me, and it's a story, like a bunch of children's like tales, and this is, you know, a little girl dreaming about a ballerina or maybe a tooth fairy. And then this is another original book page here. Aren't these great illustrations? The maracas, putting the teeth in the maracas, or they're making false teeth for one of the elder tooth fairies. This is a basket wove dyed paper. Here's a little mouth with some fairy wings from a story about the tooth fairy. And then this is cut from a book. I'm trying to remember what book this came out of, but I just really loved it for this book. So it's a journal card. And in here, another of the Grey's Anatomy pages, and another Toothy Wonderland here. And then this is just this little girl and this like beautiful, this was from a book about like antique valentines and things. And I thought it just looked nice with this page. More basket weaving on coffee dyed paper. An old tooth fairy image. Another of the Come Follow Me book illustrations of a little girl dreaming and these birds in a nest up here. That's a journal tag. And more coffee dyed paper that has kind of a toothy look to it. You know, they look like little teeth. And then this little cottage is made with tooth fairy teeth. This is cut from a book about dreaming, and I just really like this little girl for this book. More coffee dyed paper, another stenciled tooth, and I like the toothpaste color of this paper. Another coffee dyed toothy kind of paper. This is English Primrose Toothpaste of London with These Aching Teeth, which is a song that's on that little journal card. Basket weave, and this is a chicken from the original book, and this is more of the Grey's Anatomy paper. And then this is a tag I made a while ago, and I just love her smile, so I thought this would go really nice in a tooth fairy kind of book, so it is in here. Another tooth fairy here, and this journal tag of this fairy. More basket weave. Do they choose the sharpest teeth to make their saws? Or the roundest ones to make their maraca sounds? Let's see, here we get a little witchy looking, right? This is just this really cool paper. So that's out of that 1980s paper book, sample book, and you see the texture of it. It's really cool. It's kind of like crocodile skin, but it also reminds me of teeth because it's white. Another of the Come Follow Me tags, and this is this beautiful paper with stars embossed on it and a little tooth fairy pocket. More of my dyed paper. This just clips on with a little blue paper clip. It's just a journal tag with these little kids. It's from an old book. More cabbage dyed paper. Another stenciled tooth, dyed paper, and then more of that beautiful starry paper. We have this little tooth fairy here flying away with this tooth, and this is another image from that same children's book. This little tooth fairy here putting this tooth in her little castle, and this, I want to say it's like Aubrey Beardsley, but it's probably not. I forget. It was cut from an old book. I just liked her for this book. I felt like she could be a more primitive, like either a tooth fairy or a child who is out looking for the tooth fairy. Or that toothy paper. Perhaps they just make sets of false teeth. Unless they choose the longest ones to make their Halloween disguises. And another little tooth fairy reading a note from a child, and then some of that sparkly fairy paper, and this big journal card here. This was cut from the same book as that other one that I currently don't recall the name of, but it's this little, it's like a photographic kind of collage this artist does, and she's sort of riding on a bird, and there's these little cocoons. More stenciled teeth. This is from like a household notebooks kind of journal that I found, and this one says dental on the back, family medications. This is another page that's dyed with that same kind of toothy look. Some children's writing paper and cabbage dyed paper. Another original book page. More cabbage dyed paper. This little tooth fairy pocket here with this tooth fairy tag. Some blue lined paper. Or the brightest to grind up into stardust. Who knows, maybe they take the most decayed and get some witch to make a magic potion. And by the way, do the fairies just collect children's teeth? What if they also visit the animals too? Another little tooth there. This is a pocket, but also a little hidden writing space on this sparkly paper. And this is also cut from an old children's book. And then at the end, we have another of my toothy pages here and my little stamp with the date and my signature. And that is the end of the Tooth Fairy book, or what do the tooth fairies do with all those teeth. So I hope you enjoyed that book. I had fun making it, and I love the story. I thought it was very cool. And so if you're seeing this video, that means that this journal will head up into my Etsy shop. So the best way to find out when that happens is to follow me on Etsy, or if you're on my Patreon, I do post all of my books in advance on Patreon. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.